All right. It's the Android Headline Show. Tonight is Thursday, July 10th. We are broadcasting live. My name's Jeremiah from the site. I'm joined by Nick and Alex. You guys want to say what's up?
What's up, everyone?
How is it Thursday already?
Dude, it's been a long week. I'm a
It's
little
supposed to be
blurry
Friday.
It'll be Friday in a couple hours, but all day it has felt like Friday. Um, it's been a long week. There's been a lot going on in life and not a lot going on in tech, man. We're definitely, I said last week we were on kind of a Google I/O hangover, but everything hits in June, man. WWDC and then E3 and then Google I/O, and now we don't have anything.
Yeah, we hang out till August.
Yeah, August is when everything starts up with the fall phone releases and rumors.
Yeah.
Because Motorola should be doing something next month.
Yeah. The X Plus One.
Or whatever they call it.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with that.
Too many plus ones in this industry.
All the plus ones and the regular ones.
Plus one everything.
Yep. Well, we still got a bunch of stuff to talk about. Speaking of Motorola, they may end up getting the Moto X and the Moto G kicked out of Germany. OnePlus, we are giving away invites to buy yourself a OnePlus One if you want. The OnePlus 2 could be codenamed Lettuce. That's a little ridiculous, but Ev leaks, whatever. Asus is bringing more devices to the U.S. Verizon's got a bunch of stuff going on with the Sony Xperia Z2 and the LG G3 getting a release date. Avast released some ridiculous report that is getting picked up all over the internet, and it's really nothing new. You don't need to be worried about it, but we'll dive into that. Chromecast got screen mirroring, so mirroring. I feel like I said that weird. Whatever, man. It's been a long week, so we're gonna have some fun tonight. That's for sure. But let's jump into it. Motorola getting kicked out of Germany. So the story behind this, there's a company called LPKF. Is a laser engineering company in Germany that holds a patent for a specific way that cellular antennas lay and curve inside a phone. Apparently the Moto X and the Moto G infringe on this patent. LPKF took them to court. The German court folk, I don't know if they're called judges over there, whatever, ruled that Motorola infringed on the patent, and so Motorola may not be able to sell the Moto X and the Moto G in Germany anymore.
Yeah, patent trolls are never good for anybody.
And that's I don't know enough about LPKF to know if they're a patent troll. I mean, if they're a laser engineering company, it sounds like they actually do stuff, as opposed to, so the definition of a patent troll being a company that just buys patents and goes to court over them, right?
Yes. Well, I don't necessarily mean that they're literally just patent trolls, but I don't know. Getting products banned because their antenna is the same as your patent seems a little insane. I don't know.
And
it seems like something's a little off here.
Yeah.
No, I agree, and I have to imagine that LPKF is just going after some of Motorola's money, because I mean this lawsuit started well before Lenovo bought Motorola from Google. So now what? Now Lenovo has to deal with the fallout from this.
I mean,
so
here's what I want to know about something like this. Is it just Motorola's two phones here that are in question? Is it not other phones?
I mean, because they have the whole Droid line from last year, the Ultra, Max, and Mini, which are basically, the Moto X, but bigger.
Yeah, there's Verizon only, though.
4.3. Well, yeah, that's true. Then there's the Moto E, which we talked about this before we went on the air. The lawsuit might have happened before it was announced. or maybe it's set up differently. I'm not sure about that one. But I'm sure some of their earlier ones are probably the same way.
Yeah, it's just strange because I'm thinking like, okay, the patent is for antennas to be curved or contoured to fit inside the cell phone's body. So are you really telling me that none of Samsung, HTC, Asus, whatever's phones have this? Like it seems like they're singling out Motorola to me. It's just bizarre.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And maybe it's because there have been some Motorola and Apple, lawsuits in Germany. Samsung and Apple lawsuits in Germany, and lots of stuff happened in Germany. As for Android versus iOS type deals. Now, LPKF is not Apple affiliated, like they're their own company. So, but yeah, it's a good question why they're targeting Motorola. But we'll keep an eye on that. I'm going to go ahead and assume that there'll be an appeal, and if LPKF wins the appeal, that Motorola will just pay up, license whatever patents and not halt sale of the phones. But with all the news of Google teaming up with Dropbox and Canon, and we heard that I think yesterday, to try and put a stop to some of this patent trolling. Google and Apple agreeing to drop all their lawsuits. This is kind of just a story that's a lawsuit that was hanging on from previously. But if you're in Germany and you want a Moto X or a Moto G, go get one quickly before sales are halted, unless they've already been halted. I didn't see that come out of the story. If just the ruling had passed, I don't know if they have actually halted sales yet, or if they're going to let Motorola appeal. But on to some happier news. We are giving away 4 OnePlus One invites. Not on the show. There's not a whole lot we can do to give those away over the air at the moment because we've already set up a Rafflecopter giveaway on the site. So head over to AndroidHeadlines.com. If you can't find the post easily, just search for OnePlus or OnePlus One, and the post will pop right up. But
It's also
that's running for.
It's also in the show notes for tonight and Sunday, but we have another giveaway starting tomorrow that people might want to look forward to.
Uh-oh. I didn't know about this one. What are we giving away tomorrow, man?
It's the Braven BRV-X Bluetooth speaker. I reviewed it a few months ago. I actually gave away that one, so now we're giving away another one. It's a pretty big, rugged speaker. You pretty much run it over with your car and it'll still work. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, that speaker is intense, man.
Oh yeah.
So cool. Well, we got tomorrow. We'll have 2 really good giveaways. The OnePlus One invite giveaway already has over 2,000 entries. So don't believe the lies. People are actually clamoring to get this phone.
Yeah. And I think speaking of giveaways, doesn't the Blue Moo giveaway end tonight, Alex?
Probably.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's tonight.
I forgot about that one.
That's all right. Regardless, we have that one as well. So if you want this neat little thing that I reviewed like 3 weeks ago or something, go ahead and jump on that before it ends, because it's nearly done.
It actually ended yesterday.
Oh, well, never mind.
So we'll have to pick a winner after the show.
Yeah, and then I'll have to ship it off.
Yep. Cool, good stuff. So the OnePlus One invite giveaway ends in 2 days. So on the 12th, that will end. And then hopefully we'll have some more invites. Hopefully OnePlus will get off this invite deal and just release the phone. But in the meantime, we're hooking you up as much as we can.
Hopefully they'll just give us a phone to give away.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, for real. Absolutely.
If we get 2,000 just, invites to buy it, just imagine how popular it would be to, give one away that's free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they're, once they actually release it, they're going to sell a couple 100,000 pretty quickly. I mean, there's that many people on their forums every day asking, where the heck is this phone already? So we're already hearing rumors about the OnePlus 2, though. Now, the OnePlus One, its working name, while it was in development, it was codenamed Bacon. Now, right, I mean, okay, that's fair. Everybody loves bacon.
I would name it
Now,
Bacon.
why not? I mean, if I would, can I name my kids Bacon? It's a little late for that. They're already named, but EvLeaks is saying that the OnePlus 2 is going to be codenamed Lettuce. Then that's all the information we have. So EvLeaks got punked pretty good last week. He wasn't too happy when we wrote a post about it either.
We should ask him what the code name of the OnePlus Tab is.
Yeah, the OnePlus Tab or the OnePlus 3. There were a lot of jokes. Yeah, there were a lot of jokes about the OnePlus 3 being tomato, so then you'd have BLTs, which just made me hungry because this came out like right around lunchtime today. So
yeah, it was pretty nice.
So yeah, again, no details, no nothing interesting about the OnePlus 2, or even that there is going to be a OnePlus 2. Just that the code name for the next device that OnePlus is working on is Lettuce. So.
And for everybody getting upset about them working on a OnePlus 2, I thought the OnePlus One being available. It usually takes somebody a year to get a phone from scratch till it's ready to be put out. The companies are probably working on phones for the end of next year already. It's just the way things work. I mean, the OnePlus One is available, you need invites, but I mean they can't just put everything on the OnePlus One and not work on anything until after it comes out. Then they'll be even further behind.
Yeah, no, that's not how it works. Frank says, Kevin Bacon, right? Exactly. But yeah, the development cycle is 12 to 18 months for these devices. So the stuff that we're going to see in the fall and around Christmas of next year is already like in the works. So got a couple of not questions, just comments in the Q&A. Matt says people are getting $600 OnePlus Ones on the resale market. So
people are selling the invites for a couple $100.
Right. Well, if you don't want the phone, don't be that guy who picks up an invite to sell it, or picks up the invite, buys the phone just to resell it.
I'll sell mine for $400.
You would. I just said don't be that guy, jerk.
It's not $600. It's only $50 more.
He's only making $50, right, man. Come on.
That's like shipping. Especially since I had to pay $10 shipping for them.
Whatever, man. Shipping it'd be like $370 because you paid like $360 for it with shipping. But that's cool. I'll have mine ordered here pretty soon too, so that'll be on its way. I'm excited to get my hands on it, man.
We'll be a crew of OnePlus Ones here.
Right. Alex will sell his pretty quickly though.
Yeah, I get that G3.
Month or two at the most.
Yeah, not the G3. I'm bored of the G3. I just watched the ready to go back.
This phone's not even out yet, and I'm already bored of it.
Same thing with the Note 3.
So hopefully OnePlus brings some more of those out pretty soon. Asus is supposed to be bringing some more devices to the U.S. as well. The Pad Phone X just launched June 6th, so a little over a month ago. It was announced back in January, and AT&T finally got around to releasing it. But apparently it's selling pretty well. Asus says that their sales have been quote-unquote pretty good, which doesn't actually mean anything. But the fact that they're planning to bring more devices to the U.S. market shouldn't surprise anybody. Just because of the, I mean, go ahead.
I just wonder what pretty well means for Asus, because it's not like they have a huge market share in tablets or smartphones.
Yeah.
So, especially in the U.S. Now, if AT&T thing is selling pretty well, then it's a bigger number, obviously, because they had the exclusive on the iPhone for how many years, and then all these other devices like the S5 Active and stuff like that. But with Asus, they have such a small market share already. Them saying it's selling pretty well doesn't mean a whole lot.
Right. No, it doesn't mean very much at all.
Has there
But
been
it
any
means
kind
they're
of
selling
marketing
enough
for
that
that
they're.
thing?
Probably all by AT&T.
No, man.
I mean, I haven't seen anything, but
Yeah,
I don't really watch TV, so it
I've
doesn't mean
seen
much.
I've seen ads like online, like on our website and stuff.
Yep.
But that's mostly from AT&T because it's got the AT&T colors all around.
Yeah, probably.
yeah.
Hmm.
That's the only place I've seen it is banner ads and stuff on sites. So, um, but again, I mean, it took AT&T 6 months to approve it and finally release it. So they, I'm going to assume that future devices from Asus would be quicker to get approval.
Hopefully.
And Asus may also, pull like Huawei and just open a U.S. store and make the devices available direct to consumers through their website or
Well,
through
they
Amazon or something like that.
they were already. I don't know about the fat pad phones, but their tablets were already. You could buy a transformer from like Amazon or probably eBay and everywhere else. I don't know about like their smartphones though. Those are the only thing I didn't wasn't really interested in, so I didn't really check.
And the thing with their smartphones is not so much that they're going to make them available, but that they're making them with U.S. compatible cellular bands. Like you could go online and buy one from overseas. Whether or not all the bands, like you'll probably end up with HSPA plus, no LTE, no working LTE bands. If you import one in from China or wherever. So the fact that they're going to be packing compatible radios and English language devices, making those available to us,
Yeah,
is kind of the thing to note here.
and trust me, you
So
want
and other
compatible
companies,
radio.
are focusing on it. So.
Yeah, you do want a compatible
Right.
radio, especially if you're on AT&T.
Uh,
Pretty mobile
yeah.
to an extent.
But well, I mean anything. You don't want to screw around with a device that does not have a radio that works for your carrier. It's not fun.
Well, if you're on Verizon or Sprint, don't even look at it because
Well,
it's not
sure.
gonna work.
No, nothing but a non-branded phone will work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What it
but
is.
T-Mobile's HSPA Plus is pretty fast.
Yeah.
But again, if you can get LTE, why not? You know. So I'm kind of
Just make
excited
sure
about that.
just make sure it's HSPA 42 and not 21. Like the Moto G is 21, so it's pretty bad.
Right, and the Moto G wasn't aimed for here, but that's something you
Yeah.
always got to check if you're buying an unlocked phone. So, and I mean that's exciting. Just with all of the other companies that are also focusing on bringing low-cost phones here, OnePlus and Oppo, Xiaomi and Huawei, ZTE said they're going to be bringing some stuff too. So, low-cost, unlocked, off-contract devices are the way to go. I'm excited about that for sure. Verizon has announced the LG G3. So last week we had dates from T-Mobile and Sprint, and now we have dates from Verizon.
And AT&T is selling it starting tomorrow. It'll be in store.
Yep.
So AT&T
Verizon
actually jumped ahead of all of them.
Yeah, they skipped right. They didn't really. I didn't even really see a like big announcement on their release date. It was just, hey, it's available now.
It was what I think Tuesday, or no, Monday, and they announced it and said pre-orders start tomorrow. So there's Tuesday, Wednesday, and today for pre-orders, and then tomorrow it'll be available in the store. The G Watch is also there too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because you can get it with the G Watch.
And you'll get like half
Uh,
off, so it'll be like 115 or something, 114.50 I think.
Yep. I do remember hearing about that now. Um, so yeah, that's kind of cool deal from AT&T that you can get a G Watch if you buy it with the G3, get half off your G Watch. Man, I wish that carriers would push these watches with devices, like bundle them together. The watch is supposed to complement your phone, right? Like it's supposed to make that experience, the total experience, that much better.
Yeah, and
So,
Samsung did that with the Note 3 and the original Gear. If I
mhm.
remember correctly, I think it was T-Mobile, AT&T, and I don't remember if Verizon and Sprint also did it, but I know at least T-Mobile and AT&T had some kind of deal where if you bought both of them at the same time, you get some kind of discount. So this is not necessarily unprecedented, but it's not as common as it should be. Like you said, it makes a lot of sense for them to be offering some kind of discount or promotion or whatever with these things. Like what was the one that AT&T did? You could get a G Watch for $179, I think, if you buy 3 accessories.
Yeah, because the G Watch is an accessory on their site, so you could buy like 2 other useless $5 cases and get like 25% off your order. It
Oh,
was
no,
like
see, I didn't know
79
that.
bucks.
I thought you had to buy like 3 $30 cases. I'm thinking, okay, where's the advantage of this promotion?
Huh. Just the $5 cases were like the cheapest thing they had, so that's why everybody was saying just buy 2 $5 cases for like the
Sure.
Galaxy S2 or the Ativ from like 2010.
Hey, whatever works. That's a great deal then.
Yeah, I was that close to picking one up, but I decided not to.
Dang, that's pretty sweet.
It is. I mean, it's a good deal. But so yeah, that'll be coming out on Verizon here shortly too.
Yeah,
So which is good.
AT&T's tomorrow, T-Mobile on the 16th, Verizon 17th, and Sprint on the 18th. So next week.
So it's not as long as we thought. I thought we were gonna have to wait till August to get the thing.
I thought it'd
I,
be like the
I knew it'd be
20th,
like
25th.
mid-July. I knew it was gonna be like mid-July, and it's like right on time
Yeah, it works. It's
because
a good phone either way.
it's about the same amount of time it took for the G2 to get here, about 6 weeks. So
Eli is asking here on the Q&A, do you think the OnePlus One will live up to the hype? Well, so far, Nick and Alex both have them, and it has lived up to the hype. It's for Nick, it's right up his alley. It's exactly what he wanted. It doesn't have the S Pen that he was used to from Samsung, but with Alex, he said it's a little bit bigger than he would like, but it's not that much bigger. And I don't know. Let me stop speaking for you guys. We talked about it a whole bunch last week, but touch on this real quick because I mean it really is. It's a great phone.
for me, the only downside I can find is that it's a little bit too big. So when I'm typing, sometimes I type the wrong stuff or don't hit the space button. I hit like the B or the V on SwiftKey. But I could probably fix that just by turning on the capacitive keys that you can't see. Uh, that's the only bad thing I could find about it. Battery life, I can't even kill it in a day, even watching like YouTube all day on it. It's crazy.
Yeah, battery life's insanely impressive. I'm still at 33% on this thing. That's after being off the charger 20 hours, and I've got like 4 hours on screen time, and I have my watch paired to it all day. So battery life is really good. I think, I mentioned a couple of little negatives in my review. They're pretty small negatives for the most part. Um, the software in some parts still feels like beta. I think it's just because the phone only had basically 6 months from announcement to launch. So we're still getting updates pretty regularly from CyanogenMod. They have a pretty big update coming out. I think it's supposed to be in a week or two. We're going to get the 4.4.4 update, and it's supposed to have some additional stuff in it. Then, of course, we still have features that it's missing that they announced, like the always listening, like the Moto X type of thing, where you say, I think this one is OK OnePlus or whatever, but same kind of thing. You don't have to unlock the phone to do a Google search. I mean, other than that, it pretty much is a perfect phone for me. Like you said, Jeremiah, I'd like an S Pen, but nobody but the Note series has an S Pen for whatever freaking reason. So,
Lawsuits.
I guess.
Because
So,
doesn't Samsung have a stake in the company that provides the S Pen?
I have no idea. I mean, I'm just thinking it's just an active stylus. I know Wacom makes a digitizer for the Note, so somebody should be able to partner
I
with these
think
guys or partner with some kind of competitor to get a similar product.
yeah, I think Samsung owns like 6% of Wacom or something like that. It's not a
Maybe,
huge percentage, but I know they own part of it. It's the same thing with
and
Pantech because they own part of Pantech too.
Makes sense. I know NVIDIA also released some kind of active stylus with I think their last tablet.
Yeah, the
So
Tegra Note 7, I think is what they called it.
yeah, somebody is doing a little bit of it out there, but for whatever reason, it's just people think that these makers think that people just want big phones and not just big phones with this pen.
Yeah,
So
I'd never
I don't know.
used the pen. Even
That's
when
not
I
really
was
much. Yeah, that's not really much of a complaint on the phone.
when I was using the Note 2 and 3 for reviews and stuff, I never really used the S Pen. I tried to use it, you know, just so I can write about the different
Yeah,
features and stuff, but it's just so hard.
that's
It's like,
that's something you gotta just train yourself to use,
yeah,
and I've gotten over it for the most part. The only thing I miss it for is notes. That's it.
So yes, it does live up to the hype, man. It's oh,
Oh, snap.
Ruperto has just dropped us a note in the Q&A that Sprint is bumping their G3 release to tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So there's that. Thanks, Ruperto. We appreciate the heads up there. So Sprint's trying to get the jump on everybody else, getting their G3 out a little bit early. Good for you guys.
yeah, take that with a grain of salt, though.
Right. We'll see.
Because I just looked at that foreign thread real quick and it was done like almost 12 hours ago and I haven't heard anything from anybody else about it.
Yeah. So.
Hmm.
But if you're on Sprint and you really want a G3, keep an eye on that. Might be able to pick one up tomorrow. So let's talk a little bit about this. A couple of kind of reports, I guess. I don't know how I want to preface this. This first report is kind of obvious. Like it's really, it's not kind of obvious. It's like super Captain Obvious. Apparently, this report from NPD Display Search, they're a research and analysis. Display Search is a research and analysis company. NPD is like a marketing firm that also does a lot of like market research and that kind of thing. They're saying that according to their statistics and what they're tracking, mid-sized tablets or smaller tablets are going the way of the dodo. They're disappearing because people are buying larger screen smartphones. So that like 7-inch to 8-inch tablet space is just pretty much going to disappear, and that larger tablets are going to kind of come in and take over. So the Nexus 7 basically, and the Nexus 8, if that pans out, are kind of going to be phased out by. They're saying by 2018, 10% of the total tablet market is going to be made up of tablets that are over 11 inches, which I thought was interesting because I'm not a big tablet guy, but I'm definitely not a large screen tablet guy. I much prefer the 7 to 8 inch space for a tablet. But with phones coming in at 5.5, 6 inches, the Xperia Z Ultra at 6.4 inches is kind of the extreme that we're looking at now. But I mean, there's a lot of phones in Asia that are 6.1, 6.3 inches.
This one right here.
I was gonna say there's a couple of 7-inchers I think now.
Yeah, so
Asus has their phone pad at 7 inches.
So if you've got a 7-inch phone, why do you need a 7-inch tablet? The experience is the same, So that report was kind of, like I said, it's kind of obvious, but I thought it was interesting to see that trend. We've seen phones trending bigger. It just makes sense that smaller tablets are going to get kind of gobbled up.
Yeah, it seems to me like the smaller tablets were just a little phase, sort of like netbooks were. So for a while there, people were like clamoring for netbooks. It was like a year and a half, 2 years, and then it just died. I don't know.
Now it's
Went away.
Chromebooks taking that spot.
Yep, but those aren't even that small. Like netbooks were teeny. Most
Yeah,
Chromebooks are not anywhere near that small.
There is a netbook out there that was like 8.9 inches, I think.
Yeah, they were almost useless, if you ask me.
Well, they average tablet size 8.9 inches to like
Yep.
10 to 11 inches.
Yeah.
Yep.
And with laptops at 13 inches, when tablets came in at 7, 8, 10 inches, it replaced netbooks, and that's a really good comparison. So now these smaller tablet sizes are being phased out in the same way. Um,
Yep.
but what does that leave? I mean,
We've seen Samsung going bigger with their 12.12 inch was it Tab Pro and then the Note Pro were both 12.12 or 12.2 inches, and then they got the 10 inches. And didn't they get rid of the 7-inch tablets? I don't know. Did the Tab 4 have a 7-inch version?
Yes.
Okay. Because
yeah,
other
Yeah,
than
it
that,
was either a
every
7 or an 8. It doesn't matter. It's still in that smaller range. It's not a 12.
yeah, but they're going back up. Like they got rid of 7 and now it's 8.4 and above. Like the Tab S is 8.4 and 10.5. The Pros are 8.4, 10.1, and 12.2. So Samsung's going back up too, but that's because the Note line is getting bigger. So the gap between the Galaxy Note 3 and the tablets are getting smaller. So I'm
Yeah.
sure that their 7-inch tablets aren't really selling, especially those that have a Note 3 or maybe even a Note 2.
It'll be interesting to see if this carries over to Apple's products as well. If we do indeed get a 5.5-inch iPhone, if we still see the sales of the iPad Mini staying the same, or if they drop as well.
I would imagine that they will also, maybe a little bit more slowly, but they would also. Now, some of this I think points to tablets being you can use a tablet now more for work.
Yeah.
In the enterprise space, like for me personally, I would much rather carry around a 13-inch laptop. They're small enough and thin enough these days, whether you like Mac or PC. Just get a small laptop, like a Chromebook, even. But there are people that, or in certain environments, that having a touchscreen works and works well, and it's more convenient to do it that way. And now tablets are to the point that that's it's feasible to do something like that.
Yeah, I think we're probably also just seeing, tablets came around, and I think a lot of people automatically went to, oh, well, that's the next thing we go to. We get rid of these laptops and we go to tablets. And then as people started to pick them up, they realized, oh, these aren't really good for everything. So
Yeah.
you have more specific use scenarios that, like you said, people are getting into. Because I know we got a couple of, I think, original Galaxy Tabs at work back when they came out. Because, again, same thing, everyone was like, oh, yeah, I'll get rid of these clunky old laptops. And then we started using them, and we're like, crap, we need, like, a serial port to interface with these devices, and, like, all of the apps and all the stuff. You just can't do everything on these devices.
Yeah, and then you're looking at getting adapters to actually interface.
Yeah, it's just so much workaround for the same stuff. It's silly.
Yeah, but there are definitely scenarios and use cases where it is more convenient.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If everything's in the cloud, that kind of thing. So, and then the second report was completely just a bunch of FUD, man. So Avast released this infographic and a report about personal information on smartphones and the fact that when you factory reset your device, it doesn't actually wipe your data. So if you're not familiar with kind of how storage works on either an actual hard drive or flash memory like in our phones, when you delete something, it doesn't actually delete the file. It doesn't actually delete the data. It just deletes basically the table of contents. It deletes the markers that point to that data, which allows the OS. It gives the OS the okay to overwrite that data if it needs the additional storage, but it doesn't actually delete the data because it would eat up processing power and battery, and so instead it just deletes the markers of where that data is, but the data itself is still there. With very little expertise and an inexpensive or maybe even a free program now, you can get old hard drives from eBay or wherever. You can get old phones from eBay or Craigslist, and recover the data from them, and that's what Avast has done. They went on eBay, bought 20 Android smartphones, and all the phones, when they first were powered on, you got the standard startup screen, like they looked like they had been factory reset, and everything should have been wiped. They were able to recover 40,000 photos, 1,500 family photos with kids in them, 750 racy photos of women, 250 selfies. And by selfies, I'm actually mean dick pics. So there's that. Over 1,000 Google searches, 750 emails and text messages, 250 contacts. So basically all that information from these factory reset devices was still there. That's not a surprise. If you're at all familiar with or have ever worked in the IT industry, you're familiar with how this stuff works. That's the way it works.
Or if you've ever done a factory reset, because like on my OnePlus, I did a factory reset over the weekend, and I set it back up and went back in there, and all my pictures were still there, even though I did a factory reset. And there's no SD card, so it's not that it didn't erase the SD card. It's just the internal storage. And same thing with like WhatsApp, because it does a backup of your messages and stuff. When I went to log into that and get that set up again, it just backed up everything that was already on there. So it's not really anything new.
Right, but Avast is making this out, and this story's like making its rounds through all the not just Android sites, but like big tech blogs and CNET and all. Oh my gosh, all your information is still on your factory reset device. It always has been. The only way to actually wipe the drive is to get an application that will overwrite the data, which you can do. I don't know if there's any Android apps available that'll do that, but I'm sure that you can. I know you can find applications that'll run on your desktop.
Yep. At the very least, you can always just hook the phone up to the desktop and run one of those things.
Right, if you actually want to get rid of that information. But
sure.
So this is not. It shouldn't scare you, but this is something that you should be aware of. So Avast just did the report. Companies all over the place are just like taking it and making it a bigger deal than it actually is. But it's good information for people to know.
And it's not just Android either. It's probably all smartphones.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. Apple. It would take you would know if your phone was overwriting all of your data. If you had a phone even with just 16 gigs of internal storage and you had 8 or 10 gigs of data on there, it would take hours to overwrite that data and actually erase it. A factory reset takes 90 seconds.
Yeah. It's whatever. It is what it is. Just be aware of it if you're planning on selling your phone or selling your computer or basically selling any kind of electronics. This is something that's been going on forever and is not going to change. Poor Jeremiah is dying over there.
Yeah, man, I don't know what happened. Had to mute my microphone there. Had to grab a drink of water. Throat got dry. So yeah,
talk too much.
I guess, man, I should shut up and let you guys talk. But yeah, be aware of that. I mean, when you sell a device, but don't be freaked out by it, because I mean that's the way it works. You also have to understand that you probably have a lot of information floating around out there. If you've ever had an old computer that you sold to someone and thought that you had erased the hard drive, if you didn't specifically download a program that would overwrite the data, not just erase that table of contents that pointed to the data, you've got information floating around out there. Same thing with your cell phones. Like if you've got old phones, I don't have very many of my old phones anymore. I've sold most of them. And, if you have pictures of my children or my cat, from 3 years ago when we first got him, have fun with that. But, yeah, so those two reports, and then some more on the security front. And then we'll move on to a little bit of hardware and some apps. Samsung apparently is giving up the Knox program, their Knox development. So when Google announced Android L, they gave a big, kind of gave Samsung some props for the work that they did with Knox. And Samsung has since shared all that work with Google. So now we're hearing that Samsung might be taking a step back from that kind of security on Android, and Google is going to be taking that over. So have either of you guys actually used Knox or have any experience with this? I thought this was kind of interesting.
I tried Knox on the Note 3 when it came out. I don't know. It did its job, I suppose. I didn't use it for a very long time, so I can't say what was necessarily good or bad about it. But I would say the only thing that really makes me nervous about this announcement is I know how difficult it was to bypass the Knox security on the hardware on some of these phones. Like if you wanted to flash a custom ROM or whatever, unlock your device, you would trip the Knox code. And it was some kind of hardware key, and there's no way to reset that code. So let's say, whatever manufacturer you buy your phone from, if they don't want you to do that, they can see that you tripped the counter and just deny your warranty or whatever. Now, I don't know if that's going to be used like that, but that was one thing about Knox that really just, I don't know, turned me off on it.
Yeah, I never used it.
If it's a specific like security scenario, government, corporate job, something like that, maybe they need to see that you've been tinkering with your phone and so you've tripped that Knox counter.
Yeah, and in that case, I'm okay with it. I'm just, in terms of warranties and things like that, it always makes me nervous when these manufacturers put this kind of crap in there. It's like, okay, am I allowed to do what I want with my device?
It depends.
This is a hardware defect. Are you going to honor this or what? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, as far as manufacturing, like manufacturers' warranties, I'd imagine they'd have to honor that. But again, it depends. If it's a situation where you're using it for work and you are in some kind of high sensitivity area, whether it's like state secrets or if it's just like customer data for my day job, I am handling personal customer data all the time, and I'm just in outside sales, but there's personal information that can't get out there, so my work device is locked down and it has to be, and so I don't tinker with it. So if it was a situation where my company decided to use Knox, and I was tinkering with my device, then I'm liable because I'm doing something that probably breaks whatever employee agreement I signed when I took the job. But if it's just my own device and I have no need for Knox and I trigger that, I'm going to need you to go ahead and honor that warranty anyways. But it'll be interesting to see where Google kind of picks this up and takes off with it, because until Knox, we hadn't seen Android for the enterprise really take off, really do much. So now if Google's building that into the core OS, or maybe develops a fork of Android that has this specifically built in, I'm interested to see kind of where they take it. So a little bit of hardware news. Actually, before we do that, got a couple of comments. Frankie, I agree with you. He says, in my opinion, smaller tablets are far more portable versus a larger tablet, but again, if your phone is, we discussed that if your phone's 6 inches, 5.5 inches, why do you want to carry around a 7-inch tablet as well?
Those 10-inch tablets are getting a lot more portable now, though. I mean, they're still pretty big, but they're a lot more lighter than they used to be, even like with the Zoom, the Moto Zoom back in the day. They're a lot more lighter now than that thing was.
That thing was a tank.
Yep. Well, and we've got another question from Tom. He asked, what phone are you all using, what size, that kind of thing. But I think, Tom, you had another question a little while ago, or a comment, that you find yourself using your phone for everything, not so much your tablet or your camera. If you've got just a point and shoot, everybody's just using their phones now. So
That's why I sold my Nexus 7 because I just wasn't using it. I was using my phone all day for everything.
yep.
There you go. And I know I've got a friend who's got a Nexus 7, and he's got a Nexus 5, which isn't a huge phone or anything. But his Nexus 7 is something he would not get rid of because he reads comics on it, he reads other stuff on it. It's like the perfect little book-sized device, whereas a phone would be too small, even for a 5.5-inch phone or whatever. So, same thing like we said earlier with use case scenarios. It's just certain things are just better for certain people because of the way they use them.
Yep.
Yeah, and for reading, absolutely. A 10-inch tablet's too big.
Yeah, I don't want to be sitting here with a 10-inch tablet like this trying to read in bed. No thanks. You drop that thing on your face. It's not going to feel very good.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
it won't feel good if you drop a 7-inch one either.
Well, sure, but at least it's a little lighter.
And a 5-inch phone is I think, too small to stare at for a long time
Yeah,
reading.
you're going to sit here looking like this. I mean, you're going to break your eyes after a while.
But Tom also asked, what phone are you all using? What sizes? Tom, I just sold my Nexus 4. It was a 4.7-inch screen on that guy, and I sold it to buy a OnePlus One. So I've got that OnePlus One coming. It'll be here shortly. That's a 5.5-inch screen. You guys.
That's what the rest of us have.
Yep.
Yeah. So Nick, you came from
A Note 3.
5.7.
We had a G2 in there for
Well,
a
I
little bit.
had a G2 as well, which is a 5.2, and then before that I had a Note 3, which is a 5.7. So 5.2 was too small. And like, it was fine, but I definitely got annoyed. I'm like, I need more screen. Even that 0.3 inches makes a huge difference. And then, the 5.5 to the 5.7, I think feels like less of a difference. I don't know why. Maybe there's just some sort of threshold in there that you finally reach when you hit 5.5.
Probably.
What?
Go ahead, Alex.
I was just saying probably.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, and Alex, I mean, personal phone, you went from a G2 to a OnePlus One, but you're all over the place with phones, so.
Yeah, but for my, daily driver, I went from, the Nexus 4 to the Moto X to the G2, so it's 4.7 to 4.7 to 5.2 to now 5.5. So it feels a little bit big for me, but I'm starting to get used to it now. But yeah, I'm also using the Ascend Mate, which is like 6.1 inches.
You think you're gonna stay with the bigger phone? You're gonna drop back down when something else?
I don't know. It's gonna depend on what Google does with the Nexus program, because what I'm seeing out of Project Volta for Android L, I'm starting to really like what's going on there. Because the main reason why I didn't get another Nexus last year was the battery life, at least on the Nexus 4, and for what I saw on the Nexus 5 when I was reviewing that one, it just wasn't that good.
Yep.
Yeah. And Volta is insane. I know my friend with the Nexus 5, when he was running the L preview, one day he put they have the new low power mode you can stick on, and he literally got 8.5 hours of screen on time on his Nexus 5.
Holy smokes. That's really low
usage. Change with L. That's it,
Yep.
So I don't know how useful low power mode is for a lot of things, but he browses the web and does that kind of thing, so it's not a big deal if it's a little bit of performance loss.
The OnePlus One already gets like close to that. I mean, the other day I'd got like 36 hours off the charger with like a little over 6 hours on screen and still had like 14% left. So just imagine Project Volta on that thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts.
Yep. Well, a little bit of hardware news. Not a whole lot going on that front this week, but HTC is going to announce the Desire 616 or 616 tomorrow in India. And they've been selling pretty well. That mid-range Desire line, it's keeping HTC afloat. They actually are making a profit. So.
Yeah, Tom is reviewing, I think it's the 816 that's in the UK, and he's not really a big fan of it. What he's saying is like the back is glossy, like what's on the Mate 2 and most of the older Samsung stuff. But then the front, like for the speakers, it's matte, and the speakers are super small. So he's not a big fan of it. Plus, it's a 5.5-inch display, and he hates those big displays. He
It's
thought the
probably
Nexus
inexpensive
5
though,
was.
man.
Oh yeah, it's like really cheap. I think it's like maybe close to half the price of the Nexus 5. I don't know exactly what the price was, but I know it's like really cheap. But he's
Yeah.
still a bigger fan of the Moto G than that thing.
Hmm. Wow. All right.
And he's a huge HTC fan, so that tells you something.
Right. Right. Interesting. So, all
Um,
right.
I don't know. Moto G's garnered quite a few followers that I've been surprised about. I was not
I
expecting that thing to get the reception it did.
I've seen a lot of people that were buying like flagship devices jump to a Moto G last
Yeah,
year, and that
I
that really surprised me.
I did too. It was weird, man.
I liked the Moto G when I was using the one from AO, which is now Cricket. I was using it on there, and the battery life was pretty insane. It was better than the Moto X that I was using at the time.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's like the screen size thing. What's like with the screen size of 5.5 inches, where it's just kind of that's about as usefully big as you need to get. Maybe the Moto G is just it's enough for a lot of people. It's quick enough. It does enough stuff, and it's a great
I,
price.
I actually like the size of the 4.5-inch Moto G. Even at 720p, it really wasn't that bad because I think once you're under like 4.7 inches, you don't really need 1080p because the
Nah.
PPI is still going to be like super high, especially at least until we get to these Quad HD displays and everything, and not just one or two devices. But with, I think it was what like a 2200 milliamp battery in there or something. It's just crazy, and for under $200. It's kind of hard not to get that one. That's the phone that I recommend to pretty much everybody right now.
Yep. Sony. Some Sony news. They're bringing some more phones, some more devices to the U.S. The Xperia Z2 tablet is coming to Verizon Wireless. I don't know if that's big news, other than the fact that more Sony devices in the U.S. is a good thing.
Yeah, but talk about the price.
On
Uh,
that Z2 tablet.
Oh, you don't have it pulled up? It's
Uh,
599 off contract and 499 on contract, which is kind of retarded.
no, yeah, it's like $200 too much if they actually want to sell this thing.
Well, but
But
also the off contract versus contract price is only $100. Why would you go on contract for that?
yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't
Verizon
make
doesn't
any
care if you're on
sense.
contract for a tablet.
But I mean, the pricing is typical Sony pricing, basically. Because I think the Wi-Fi version is like 500 or 550, and it's not even well. It's a 1080p display, but most tablets now are 2560 by 1600, and I think it's one of Samsung's 10-inch tablets. I think it's the Tab Pro or Note Pro. Might be both of them are on Verizon for like I think it's either 549 or 599, and I would actually probably go and get one of those unless I really cared about the water resistance on the Xperia Z2 tablet.
Right, and Sony stuff I feel like is always overpriced just because you're paying for the Sony name.
Yep,
Um, by $100 or so. If
at
this thing
least.
were if this thing were $399 on contract or even $299 on contract and $499 off contract, they'd sell a lot more of them.
If it was just
Uh,
399 outright, it would sell a whole lot more.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
man.
that on contract price is crazy though. I know when the gosh, what was the LG tablet that came out a couple months ago?
The one that came out of Verizon a couple of months ago?
Yes,
Yeah, the G Pad 8.3.
that was it. Thank you. And that was $100 on contract.
Yep.
Like that actually made sense.
And I think it was like 250 off contract, which was actually cheaper than the Wi-Fi version, which is
Yes.
kind of crazy.
Yeah, I do remember that. So I don't know why they don't do that kind of deal with everything, but maybe like you said, it's a Sony thing. It's just that brand you're going
And
for.
and at that time they were offering like I think it's like 1.2 gigs or 1.5 gigs of free data every month for like the rest of this year because they were answering back to T-Mobile's 200 megabytes of free data every month for the life of the tablet.
Yep.
I think they stopped doing that now, or Verizon stopped doing it. T-Mobile's still doing it.
Yeah, no, Verizon pulled the plug on that pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm not
Um,
surprised.
The Z1 Compact is available in the U.S. on Sony's website now too. So the U.S. compatible version. Only 6 months or so after the device came out, but I mean that's a pretty solid phone.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it. Well, other than the screen, but that's kind of we hear that about every Sony device, except
Yeah,
for the Z2.
and I think I honestly think that's the only compact version of a phone on the market that has the same specs as the full size version. I
Yeah.
don't.
The
Nobody else does
Droid,
that.
the Droid Mini had it, same as the Ultra, but
Yes,
those weren't really like super high
Verizon
in specs.
exclusive again.
Well, it
So
was also not super high in specs. It was like a S4 Pro
yeah, that's
processor,
true.
stuff like
Yeah,
that.
this is pretty top of the line specs. I mean, it's
Yep.
only a notch under what's out now.
Yep, it's 4.3-inch display. Is it 720 or is it still 1080?
It's 720.
Yeah,
Yeah,
720 because it's
and
only because it's
Yeah, but
small.
at
the
4.3
only
inch,
difference is the
1080 go.
screen and the battery. I think the battery's what, like 1800, 1900,
Yeah, same thing though.
somewhere in
Size,
there.
you just don't need it.
Yeah, but still the 20.7 megapixel camera, Snapdragon 800, 2 gigs of RAM. Oh, it's a
Yep.
2300 milliamp battery, so it's the same size as the Nexus 5.
Yeah, all the stuff that matters is the same. The rest of the stuff, changes with the size. It's just the way
Yeah,
it is.
it's Android 4.3.
At least it's not a QHD screen, and I mean
Yeah,
small Q.
I don't
Yeah,
know why
that's
LG did that with the G2 Mini last year. At least the G3 Mini has a 720p this year.
So bad.
so. Let's jump into a little bit of software and app stuff, man. Um, apparently there's some new backup and restore functionality that could be available when Android L sees a public release in the fall. So this is pretty interesting. This rumor is basically saying that the backup and restore feature is going to get a revamp that it has needed for a long time. Instead of having it built into the device, it's going to be manageable from the Play Store on a per device level. So if you have a phone and you also have a tablet, you can keep them separate. You can restore apps just from the phone, just from the tablet. You can select from like if you have multiple phones. Alex, you got a million different test devices that you're demoing. You
Yeah,
can
this
now
is a feature I'm really looking forward to because I don't keep all the same apps on a review device I keep on my daily driver. I keep a lot less on the review device.
Yep.
Yep. So all of that's going to be manageable, and it's been. Hopefully, it actually drops with Android L or sooner. But it's been a long time coming, man. The backup and restore feature is kind of wonky sometimes. I haven't had major issues with it other than it installs almost every single app I've ever installed on a phone, like going back to the OG Moto Droid
Yes.
and the Droid Incredible that I had in like 2008.
Yeah, and there's no
So
easy way to pick and choose what to restore. It's very frustrating. And then I don't know if you've ever had this issue where when you sign into a new phone or whatever, and it starts installing, you tell it to stop, and then it'll go and update the Play Store like 3 more times, and every time it tries to restore all those apps, you got to tell it to stop every
Yeah.
time. It's very, very, very annoying.
Yeah, when I go through the setup process, I uncheck the restore and backup box because there's just so many apps that I have
Yes.
downloaded since 2009, and I don't want to install all that stuff. And some of these devices, I don't have enough room to install all that stuff.
yeah, it's just a pain in the neck. And some people have had issues with it, not restoring Wi-Fi passwords and just kind of
Yep.
not a consistent experience. So
Yeah, it's real
that more
screwy.
than anything, like more granular controls, being able to control more closely what apps are backed up and maybe you download some apps and then when you get a new phone you go to switch over and you don't even want that that specific app backed up because you're never going to install it again. So
Yep.
this kind of control would be fantastic.
And
And
the per device controls, it sounds like it's something that I can just push out through the web version of Play Store. That we don't really need a OTA for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably like installing apps from the web Play Store to your phone.
Yep. Yep.
Because
Pretty good
I mean, if
design.
I have to wait for Android L for everything to do per app restore and stuff, I'm not really gonna be able to take advantage of it for a long time.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe this is all. It sounds like background, Google Play services type
Yeah,
stuff, though.
that's what
There's
I'm
no
thinking.
reason they can't. I mean, that's all this is Google Play Services stuff. So it's probably just they'll coincide it with the launch just to update all their crap at once.
And
Yeah,
this
we'll
rumor
get
says that the development on this is pretty. We're still pretty early on in the build out of the new backup and restore functions, so
Yep.
it'll just coincide with the Android L release. It sounds like we may get it a little bit earlier. It may be after the first of the year, but
Yeah. Did you guys see the other Android L stuff that came out this week? The new stuff that was found. We had the SD card stuff and then the quick toggles.
yeah. So the quick toggles,
Oh yeah, yeah,
you'll
yeah.
be able to
I forgot about
personalize them, which is something
Yeah.
that you can do in TouchWiz.
With
Most
CyanogenMod.
ROMs will, yeah,
Well,
CyanogenMod,
I
AOKP.
wouldn't really say TouchWiz because theirs aren't really the same.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you can kind of pick and choose, and you've got a little more control over what shows up.
Yeah, you have something. There's nothing in AOSP. You get what you get and that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then yeah, and hopefully they put a flashlight one in there too. I don't know what the heck, why that is not in anything. Nobody has that for some reason,
Or you
except
can
for
just draw,
Apple. I don't
or you
get
can, or you can just draw a V and turn on the flashlight.
it. Turn
I
it
don't know
on in your
why.
pocket.
I don't know why it's drawing a V to turn on the flashlight. Like, does that even make sense?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it beats me, man. And then the SD card thing, real quick. If you remember the whole saga with the SD cards and KitKat, they're more or less reversing that in L, but they're doing it in sort of a roundabout way, where it's still by default apps can't write to the SD card except for their specific folder. But now they're giving permissions where the user can go in the app and tell it you're allowed to write to these folders, and you can even pick the root of the SD card. So a user can give the app full permission, but by default it's still off.
And that's fine. That's fine. Just give me the option. Give me the choice.
Yep, that's the unknown sources box that we've needed for this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just give me the choice.
I've kind of figured Google was doing something with SD cards for Android L because every device this year has come out with an SD card except for the OnePlus and probably the Nexus. Even the Moto X Plus One is supposed to have one, which is kind of surprising since it was developed under Google.
Yeah,
But
the SD card is only getting more popular, not less popular. So
yeah,
it's good to see them reacting to the market.
like everybody got rid of it and only Samsung had it, and then now it's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a big selling feature. People want that removable storage.
I mean, we were just talking about, factory reset's not fully wiping your device.
Yep.
If you've got all your pictures and personal information on an SD card, pop it out, pop it in the new phone. Done.
Done. Exactly.
So, Chromecast got updated with screen mirroring now. So this has been available through third-party apps like Allcast for a little while, but now it's officially available right on your Chromecast. You can mirror devices.
Yeah, but it's only for like a few devices.
Right. Yeah, that'll roll out to more, but it's only available for a handful right now.
Yeah, it's baked into CyanogenMod. I can't find the app right now, but I know it's baked into CyanogenMod 11s. But it's not available through the Chromecast app yet on the OnePlus One, so I wasn't even able to use it because none of the devices. Well, the G3 it will work on there, but I didn't get the update in time because I had to send it back. So I haven't had a chance to play with it yet.
And I just use Allcast for all that stuff. So I bought Allcast to use it with Showbox.
Yeah, I use
watch.
AVF for Showbox.
Yeah, it works just the same. Dude, that has been absolutely. I use Showbox for
It's the best.
everything, man.
It is a little screwy sometimes, but you get what you pay for. So
Yeah, it kills your battery sometimes if you get like to force close it. It'll keep GPS on all day.
Yeah.
See, I haven't had that issue with it.
The other day, it killed my OnePlus battery in like 12 hours. I'm like, why am I at 10%?
So you
Oh,
figured that out. I remember you mentioning that.
Showbox used like 75% of my battery, and I haven't had it open all day.
Yep, yep.
Huh. I've not had that happen yet, thankfully.
It's happened a few times on both the OnePlus One, the Yoga 10 HD Plus, and even the SN Mate 2.
You know what you can do? I was trying to remember if this was actually in the CyanogenMod mod for the OnePlus One. Go to your settings and then the privacy, and go into Privacy Guard and shut off the
Oh yeah,
location on Showbox. In fact, I'm going to do it now before I forget.
Well, yeah, why does Showbox need your location?
I don't
I have
know.
no
I'm
idea.
denying it right now. See you later.
And if it really actually screws something up,
No,
just re-enable it. But why would that?
no more
Why
wake clock.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those things. I'm sure there's a fairly legitimate reason for it, but it sounds nefarious, so I'm going to disable it.
It sounds like it, will fry your battery, so that's reason enough.
Yeah, or they're going to send the FBI to my door, which either way I don't want it.
Well, if the FBI is coming to your door from their app, they're partly responsible there. So.
That's going to be interesting.
Right, right.
It's an NSA app.
Yeah, that's
It is.
exactly what it is.
Yeah. There's a Showbox NSA version. And this will be a good segue because we can talk about your new watch there, Nick.
Yay.
Android Wear, there's a bug that it doesn't play nice with paid apps, so paid apps weren't able to be installed on Android Wear. Google's released a workaround for it. I haven't looked too closely into it because I don't have a Android Wear watch yet, but
I'll explain it if you want.
yeah, go ahead.
Quick. It's just basically the developer has to rebuild the app, and they just put the Android Wear APK into a different folder. So it's like, I guess the original folder it's in is sort of a secure folder, and this new one is, I don't want to say a non-secure folder, but it doesn't require authentication when it pushes it to the watch.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
It's supposed to be a really super simple fix.
Cool. And I figured it wouldn't take them long to get that figured out, but
Yeah, it's kind of goofy that they have to do that at all, but it is what it is.
yeah. So, well, yeah, and like I said, it's a good segue, man. We'll jump right into what's new in your Android world. Tell us about your watch, Nick.
Well, I got the Gear Live, which I believe Justin reviewed that one. I got it here. I ended up picking this over the G Watch because I like how it looks better, and I like the fact that it has the heart rate monitor on it. The larger battery on the G Watch was interesting me at first until I read Justin's review, and he's definitely spot on. It's at 42% right now, and I've had it off the charger since 6 this morning when I woke up. So that's to say that that's way better than the original Gear doesn't even come close. I was at 42% by like lunchtime on the original Gear. So this is like the Note 3 versus the OnePlus One for me right now in terms of battery life. Feature-wise, honestly, it's everything that I wanted. I would say the only exception is the fact that it doesn't have a speaker on it, which I didn't know when I bought it. So I got it, and I'm doing the Google Now stuff, and I'm like, why isn't it making any noise or talking back to me? And then like I got a phone call and I went to answer it. I'm like, what the heck? It's not like a speakerphone or anything. And I look at my phone and it's on the phone call, and then I look it up and I realize, oh, Android Wear doesn't do speakers. Oh, okay, well that sucks, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. So
it uses the speaker on your phone. Is the review I saw today.
yeah. Well, it has a microphone in the side of it right here
It's for the
get
voice
the Google Now
controls.
commands, but it has no way of talking back to you, which I find to be a little annoying. But I
I find
suppose
it funny.
that's yeah, it's a little frustrating. But honestly, I mean, I can't really say that other than the first day, it ruined my expectations at all, because now that I know it's not there, it doesn't bother me. You know, you hear all the notifications and stuff on your phone. You don't really need another device telling you again. It would be nice when you're using navigation to have it talk back to you, but again, your phone talks back to you already, and you have to be in proximity to the phone since it's Bluetooth. So it's not like you're not going to hear the phone. And then speakerphone on the Gear, same thing. It was cool, but for most scenarios, it really was not practical. So whatever. it's kind of a feature that I would like to be there, but it's not a deal breaker.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm checking Tom's question here. It does not work with iOS. It works with any Android phone, Android 4.3 and up. So pretty much if you have even a relatively old phone, like in the last year and a half, you should be able to use an Android Wear Watch. It gives you notifications, so like I can scroll through, and if you use Google Now, you know what to expect. It's got the different cards on here. Like I've got weather. You can't see it. I'm not even gonna show it to you. You got weather cards on here for like your areas, like work and home and stuff like that. It's got a pedometer. The Gear Live has a heart rate sensor, so you have to ask it what your heart rate is, but it's real simple. It's like a little quick 10-second calculation, and it finds it. It'll deliver your notifications on there, so anything from text messages, Google Plus stuff, Facebook stuff, and a lot of this stuff integrates with it, so you can reply via voice. So like, sometimes you'll be driving or whatever, somebody sends you a text, instead of having to fiddle around on your phone, which is illegal in a lot of states now, you can just look at the watch, press reply, and then speak your reply to it, and it sends it all off and does everything for you. So it just kind of makes the hands-free thing a lot easier. And then they'll have more apps that integrate with it too. There's going to be plenty of stuff to work with this thing pretty soon.
If you use Google Voice, Android Wear does not yet have support for a Google Voice app, and text replies come from your actual phone number in Hangouts. It doesn't come from your Google Voice number. So
nice.
That's something that I read or heard on another podcast. I don't remember this week where I saw that, but I use Google Voice as that's the only number I give out. I have a work number. I have my Google Voice number, and that's it. I don't even use my T-Mobile number for anything. So I was a little bummed to hear about that, but it won't be long before Voice is either integrated into Hangouts, maybe when Android L drops officially in a couple of months, or they'll get a Google Voice app up and running on Android Wear. So
and there's stuff like that. I wouldn't say this is a first generation. It's probably more like on second generation smartwatches or so now. But you can tell it's still early in Android Wear's life. Like there's going to be plenty of things they're going to add to it. There's a few little quirks they got to work out, things like that. But it's way better than anything else out there.
Especially if you're a bit of an early adopter, this is still something that is for you. If you're not, this is still something that is not for you. It works and it works well, but it's just early on in the life of smartwatches and in the life of Android Wear. I've heard a lot of early adopters kind of joking and laughing about people that are spending money on these because they're so early, and because we're going to see over the next I was going to say 12 months or so, but it probably won't even be that long. It'll be like Christmas time this year. There's going to be a whole slew of new watches come out. So if you're not 100% sold on these, just save your pennies. There's going to be a bunch more options and a bunch more improvements. These are still early devices. I mean, the Moto 360 looks phenomenal, whereas the Gear Live is okay, and the G Watch is a reference device at best.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it really is. I'm nothing against the G Watch if that's kind of what you actually want, but it's kind of bland.
It's basically just a plain and simple watch. I mean, it's all black and there's no real design to it. So
it's just a black square. There's not really design to it at all. You're right.
And then the Gear Live, it basically just looks like all the other gears.
Yeah.
Not the Gear Fit, but the other ones. Gear 2, Gear 2 Neo.
The regular gears, yeah.
Yeah.
At least there's some design to the Gear Live.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I like the way it looked better, so that was one of the reasons I picked it.
How's that display outside, like in the sun?
Perfect. Even with my sunglasses on, I have zero problem seeing it.
Cool.
And it's not even on max brightness. It's on the default. It's like middle of the road brightness.
That's something that I've seen with the G Watch outside. This screen's hard to read.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
well, it's
well.
this thing's an AMOLED.
I've heard that with the Gear Live, it was hard to see outside because it is AMOLED.
I have
Mm.
no. I was even thinking today, like, okay, one of the things it does is it goes into this dimmed state. This is the dimmed mode, and that's the always on display. It's always on like that. So when you raise it, I'll tap it because it won't raise right. It goes to like a full color, brighter mode. And the dimmed display, I can't really see outside when I have my sunglasses on and I'm in the sunlight. But I literally, when I raise my hand up, I can see everything. It works perfect. So I don't know if some people were just in some weird area or what, but I don't have a problem at all.
Well, they're all in San Francisco because it was like the day of I/O and the day after.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Beats
Maybe they
me.
had brightness turned all the way down or something. But
There's no
cool.
telling.
That's good to know. But yeah, man, I'm excited. Anything else you got new? Any other fun toys?
I think that was the big thing. I've been messing around with a couple of different apps here for some of those top 10 lists, but oh, you know what it was? That was the one I wanted. Flappy Golf.
Flappy Golf.
Flappy Golf. If you guys have played Super Stickman Golf or anything else by Noodle Cake, they're just a really, really good little simple games developer for Android. And they made this one. I don't even know how old it is, but I just found it today. It's called Flappy Golf. It's literally a hybrid between Flappy Bird and Super Stickman Golf. So you have like this 2D sort of side-scrolling golf course, and instead of pulling the ball back and shooting the trajectory like Angry Birds or whatever style, you are just tapping to go left and right, and it'll flap like this, across the screen, and you have to do as few flaps as possible to land it in the hole. It's absolutely phenomenal, and it's free. It's like 60 levels. It's ridiculous.
That's great. Get a little time killer for a couple minutes here and
Yeah,
there.
it's a lot of fun.
Cool. Well, and your OnePlus One review went up last weekend.
Yeah, I think it was on Saturday.
Yep.
So you guys talked about the phones a lot last week, but now your review is officially up on the site. So
Yep, go check it out.
yeah, and it's real in depth, man. I think you wrote like 6,000 words.
It was almost
6,200
7,000.
Almost 7,000 words.
It was like 6,900 or some obnoxious number. So my apologies if you don't like long reads. Just skip to the end. I have nice bullet points for you.
Not saying word count is everything, but man, you really did a deep dive. I was impressed. It's a good review.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
We put out a ton of reviews last Saturday.
Yeah.
So that was like all we put out was reviews.
Yep. It was review Saturday, so.
Yep.
Cool. Well, Alex, I know you got that Huawei device. What's new with you?
Well, that review is going out Saturday. I just finished it today. I got to take pictures of it and stuff like that. But there's another app, kind of like Showbox, that I've been playing with. It's called Popcorn Time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you got all kinds of different movies here. It doesn't look like it works with Chromecast though. Like how in Showbox you can choose not to use the internal player and use something like Avia or Allcast to put it up on Chromecast. I don't see that in here.
I wrote that up this week. It's coming. There's a beta version for Windows of Popcorn Time that does have Chromecast support, but the Mac version and the Android version are coming soon. They haven't released those yet, but it'll be on its way soon.
Yeah, the search doesn't seem as good as it is in the Showbox app. There doesn't seem to be as much stuff in here either. I've only been playing with it like a day or so now, but it's another alternative, for more stuff to watch, basically.
I have not found, and Frankie dropped this note in the Q&A that Showbox is the best, and it is. I have not found anything.
Yep.
The Wire, Community, Game of Thrones. Not to promote pirating, but I'm gonna promote pirating a little bit because some of these episodes, like Game of Thrones, you can't get unless you've got an HBO Go.
It's on Popcorn Time too.
Yeah. So, it is what it is. However you choose to consume your media is up to you. But, yeah. So Popcorn Time's a good one. Hey, what else you got, Alex? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you
that's it. Besides that, and the Mate 2, let's see what the battery life looks like on here right now, because it's pretty insane. Um, it's been off the charger for a day and 6 hours. Is at 70% and 8.5 hours on screen time.
Holy crap. Well, it's a 720. It's a 6.1 inch display, but it's only a 720p
And
resolution,
it's
right?
40,050 milliamp battery.
That is
They promote
insane.
one of the features on here is that you can plug in your phone into this phone to charge your phone. So, which I don't know how you're gonna plug it in because it's a micro USB. It's not like a regular USB adapter in here anywhere.
You just get
The
one of
ba-
those adapters. I can't remember what they're called.
The battery isn't removable though, which isn't really surprising because it's like a 4,000 milliamp battery. You probably won't
Yeah,
need
at
to.
that point, who cares?
The weird thing is they partition the storage, so you only have like 5 gigs for apps, if I can find it.
That's unfortunate. I hate when they do that.
Uh, it's the Chinese OEMs. I found that a lot with them. It'll say like 11.69 gigs free. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. And like 5.01 gig for applications only. And there's like, I think there's about 600 or 700 megabytes of it filled already when I first got it. And I was at like 800. So I don't put a whole lot of apps on like my review devices, mostly like benchmarking and stuff like that. But other than that, it just feels like a bigger, like fatter Galaxy Note 2. I mean, it looks just like one, even down to the design, except for there's no physical buttons.
Good job, Huawei. Good job.
Yes, for real.
I like the design of the first Mate a lot better. It kind of felt like a mixture of like I'd say the OnePlus One and the Nexus 5. Like it kind of looked like the OnePlus One from the front, except for these bezels up here. But then the back was like the soft touch, like the Nexus 5 and the Nexus 7 has. It felt really good, but I don't know why they went this way with the Mate 2. But yeah, that's it for me.
Cool, man. Well, you stole mine because I was going to talk about popcorn time. We should have coordinated that a little bit better. It's been kind of a crazy week offline for me, so I other than popcorn time, I didn't have a whole lot of stuff. I think I talked about this MPOW StreamBot FM transmitter last week. I don't know if I did or not, but if I
I don't
didn't,
remember.
yeah, it's cool. This guy, it's in my car, but that's the box. My review's up on the site for that. It's actually an FM transmitter that works. I was pleasantly surprised. I've been using it for since Michelle from MPOW sent it over to me. It's a little quirky, but it works. It works well. It's powerful enough to actually get you some streaming audio without a lot of static. So in the city, in the country, whatever. So my review's up on that. You can check that out on the site. Other than that, sold my Nexus 4 and got a OnePlus One on the way. I'm excited to finally upgrade off that Nexus 4 for my daily driver. So
It's about time.
yeah, it is, man. It is. I bought it late.
Yeah.
I had a Galaxy Nexus on Verizon and just milked that thing for all it was worth because there wasn't anything else on Verizon I wanted. When the Nexus 4 went on sale, like August or September, right before the Nexus 5 was announced,
Yeah.
I picked up the Nexus 4 for cheap and switched to T-Mobile. So I haven't even had it a year, but it was time. So I'm excited to get that OnePlus One when it finally shows up.
It was gonna be a big change.
Dude, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Particularly that
Pro
camera,
to-
man.
S4 Pro to a Snapdragon 800.
801.
801. So the processor, the camera, the battery life, like I'm super excited.
Yeah, good times, man.
At least you're not on the Galaxy Nexus still. Mine doesn't even power on anymore.
Dude, mine still does. It's running. I think it's running CM10.
I'm not sure
My
what
kids-
mine is. Mine's
My
the
kids
Sprint
play
one.
like Angry Birds and stuff on it. So
I think I flashed it to its death because it doesn't even turn on now because I flashed so many ROMs on it. Whoops. And radios. The radios were so bad on the Sprint one.
dude, they were bad on all of them, but yeah, the Sprint one was particularly awful.
And Sprint didn't get a whole lot of development. Like there wasn't much development at all.
Yeah.
Like, there's only a couple of guys in there, like Shabby Penguin and a couple other guys. All they're doing it, like, because for the Jelly Bean rounds, you only had like one, and it was just stock. Then, well, of course, there was CyanogenMod too, but that was about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's. I think that's going to do it for the Android Headline Show this week. The podcast will be up shortly, so if you're tuning in for the first time tonight, we'll pull the audio and make the podcast available. That link will be up in the show notes. You can find it in the notes about the show, that post that went up today. The podcast is hosted on Podomatic. You can find it on iTunes and Stitcher. So definitely go subscribe, download that. Take us with you. If you can't make it in, tune in live to the show, or you just want to recap some of the stuff. You can also find us on, obviously, AndroidHeadlines.com, Twitter @AndroidHeadline without the S, Google Plus, we're heavily involved there, Facebook too, if you still use Facebook. Yeah, get at us, let us know, shoot us an email, drop us a comment on one of the posts about the show, let us know what you want to hear about. It's always a blast hanging out with you guys. Nick, Alex, thanks so much.
Same here, man. See you later.
See everybody next week.